Bonsoir, welcome. You're watching Eye on Africa with me, Clarisse Fortuné. Coming up, these stories from across the continent. Chad is pulling out of the International Criminal Court, accusing it of bias against Africa. The move makes it the fourth African nation since 2025 to begin leaving the ICC, as the court faces growing political pressure and mounting challenges. Fear and speculation are spreading across Madagascar's capital. Nearly 200 people have been reported missing this year, and several bodies have recently been found, including of children. As police struggle for answers and rumors flood social media, desperate families are demanding action. And centuries-old medinas in the Comoros have joined UNESCO World Heritage status. The designation is raising hopes that these historic trading towns, some dating back to the 12th century, can be preserved for future generations while attracting new tourism to the island nation. Chad is moving to quit the International Criminal Court, accusing the judicial body of bias against African nations. The United Nations has been notified, and the process should take at least a year. Chad becomes the fourth African country since 2025 to begin leaving the court, following Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Harold Gerald has more from Jamena.
9 of the 13 situations currently under investigation by the International Criminal Court concern African countries. This is proof for the Chadian government that the international justice system is biased. The Central African country submitted a letter to the United Nations to begin withdrawing from the court, a process that takes at least a year. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement retracing the full history of ICC's investigation, highlighting the fact that since its creation in 2002, the ICC mostly investigates a situation that have happened on African soil. This is still a surprising decision coming less than 3 weeks after the ICC's deputy prosecutor left Chad, praising the government's cooperation during the investigations into alleged war crimes in Sudan. But it reflects a growing trend across the Sahel region, as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger also announced last month that they are withdrawing from the International Criminal Court, withdrawals that have been largely welcomed by the United States, which has sought to weaken the ICC since Donald Trump returned to power, and which on Monday called on the 125 member states to withdraw from the Roma Statute that established the court in 1998.
Ghana is evacuating around 1,000 more of its citizens from South Africa. Accra is also pushing for the issue to be taken up at the African Union, warning that attacks on migrants threaten African unity and free movement across the continent. Meanwhile, Nigeria says South Africa pledged to prosecute those responsible for attacks on foreign nationals and discuss compensation for victims. The two countries have agreed to ease diplomatic tensions, as Territorial insists it does not condone the violence, which has seen migrant-owned businesses looted and thousands of Africans forced to leave the country. Nigeria's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs says more needs to be done.
This xenophobic attack had gone beyond, attack on criminals. We have record of Nigerians who have legitimate papers to remain in South Africa, yet they have been attacked. And we could see some mob actions, which we saw the police watching as if they are helpless to address this situation, which to us raises issues of state responsibility. It raises the issues of complicity.
Now to Madagascar, where fear is gripping the capital as reports of disappearances continue to mount. Since January, around 200 people have been reported missing nationwide, most of them in Antananarivo, and several bodies, including those of children, have recently been discovered. Police have launched a special anti-kidnapping task force, but no arrests have been made. As social media fuels rumors of ritual killings and organ trafficking, anxious families are demanding answers. Aurélie Coumont reports.
A deterrence patrol sweeps the working-class neighborhood of the capital. They are following up on reports of missing people, most of them coming from this district. Since January, 200 people have been reported missing nationwide, the large majority in the capital. Lately, 4 bodies were found in just over a week, among them a 12-year-old girl and a 17-year-old boy. Police have opened a coordination center, stepped up patrols, and the government has approved an anti-kidnapping task force. So far, there's been no arrest.
People here are frightened. Make no mistake, disappearances and killings are real. But not every case is what it seems. Some are runaways, others simply children who wandered off due to a parent's carelessness. We're also cracking down on disinformation, especially online, where opportunists are stoking fear for their own gain.
On Facebook, missing person posts flood the feed, alongside theories of ritual killings and organ trafficking. The rumors are traveling faster than the investigation, and crowds have attacked suspects on hearsay alone. Dorothée has just learned that her son, 23 years old, missing for 2 weeks, has been found dead.
It was his friends who told us a body had been found. A man wearing blue sandals. That's how we knew it was him. We went to every police post. We even went to the morgue but couldn't find him. He'd been piled under other bodies.
Families like Dorothee's are searching on their own. That is why civil society groups and churches say the government is falling short. They want real investigation and answers. President Michael Randianirin calls these crimes acts of terrorism, an attempt to destabilize his transition. He has offered no evidence.
Now, in other news and in brief, Uganda has declared itself Ebola-free after completing the required 42-day monitoring period with no new cases detected. Health officials say the outbreak, confirmed in May and linked to neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo, was contained after all identified contacts were quarantined and monitored. But across the border, the situation remains serious. More than 3,200 cases and over 1,400 deaths have been recorded in eastern Congo, where health workers are struggling to contain the fastest spreading Ebola outbreak on record. Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has pledged his country's full support to Mali during a visit to junta leader Assimi Goïta. Faye strongly condemned a recent wave of attacks by jihadist and separatist groups, which have intensified pressure on Mali's military government. The visit comes as Mali continues to battle insecurity despite military partnerships with Russia and a break from regional bloc ECOWAS. Senegal says it stands ready to work with Mali to confront growing security threats across the Sahel. Gabon and Equatorial Guinea have officially ended a decades-long dispute over 3 small islands in potentially oil-rich waters. The agreement follows a ruling by the International Court of Justice, which found in favor of Equatorial Guinea and confirmed its sovereignty over the islands of Bani, Cocotiers, and Konga. The accord was signed at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, with both countries committing to respect the court's decision. Officials hailed the deal as a new chapter in bilateral relations, ending a territorial dispute that dates back more than a century and paving the way for closer cooperation. Now, UNESCO has added 6 historic medinas in the Comoros to its World Heritage list, a boost for efforts to preserve its centuries-old cultural heritage. The ancient towns, some dating back to the 12th century, were once thriving sultanates along key maritime trade routes linking Africa, the Middle East, and Madagascar. The buildings are now deteriorating, but the people hope the UNESCO designation will help protect the sites and attract tourism. Laurent Bersécher.
Their century-old stones and carved gates stand witness to the splendor of Swahili architecture and to the greatness of the ancient sultanates of the Indian Ocean. In the Comoros, 6 secular medinas have now been added to UNESCO's World Heritage list, a recognition of the archipelago's central and historical role in fostering economic and cultural ties between Africa, Asia, and the Middle East.
For Comorians, this decision goes beyond simple pride in our heritage. It's an affirmation of sovereignty over our own story, that of an archipelago which used to be an active crossroads for historical exchanges, a place of knowledge and advanced governance.
Located on the islands of Grand Comoro and Anjouan, the former city-states are the country's first sites to be added to the prestigious UNESCO list. Built as far back as the 12th century, these ancient palaces, mosques and public squares were linked by a series of narrow streets and protected by imposing medieval walls. Some of the medinas are still inhabited today, but nearly all of them have fallen into an alarming state of disrepair. Conservationists now hope UNESCO's distinction will help generate fresh funds to preserve and maintain these historical structures.
We will need an ambitious national strategy. It should ensure the development of cultural, historical and architectural tourism, the preservation of heritage and the promotion of local craft.
3 other African sites also joined UNESCO's World Heritage list over the weekend: the Blue City of Sidi Bou Said in Tunisia, the Boma National Park in South Sudan, and the plantations of Sao Tome y Principe.
That's all for now. Thank you for watching Eye on Africa on France 24.